Hi, my name is Johanna Colon, and I'm an eighth grade ELL MLL video content specialist. Today, we're going to be focusing on Unit 3, Day 6. The title of this lesson is Introduction to U.S. Imperialism. So, right off the bat, you know that imperialism is going to be one of the words of focus for this lesson. The focus question is, how did U.S. expansion affect different cultures? So, again, expansion is definitely going to be something that we also unpack with the students. Today, we will be focusing on the big ideas of foreign policy, imperialism, and US expansion. The areas of focus are building background knowledge, targeting vocabulary development, increasing access to grade level texts, and using students' home language as a resource. This is all in accordance to the Division of Multilingual Learners. And the approaches and techniques that will be used are Jamboard, KWL chart, guiding questions, Google Translate, and purposeful images. The lesson objective for today is that students are introduced to the cultural and political motives behind the United States' growth as an imperialist nation at the turn of the 20th century. So they need to understand why they want to grow as an imperialist nation and what it means to be an imperialist nation, right? So you want to make sure that you understand that the students understand that. And for the introduction or model, there is a political cartoon, which we will definitely unpack. But before we get to this introduction or model, we kind of have to review some of the things that we mentioned before, right? That really have to do with the objective and this focus question. And one of the ways that you want to do that is with a Jamboard. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to unpack this word expansion because that's in the focus question. What does it mean to expand? And you can ask the questions, well, based on these images, well, what does it mean to expand? And the students can, of course, use a sticky note. They can write it in English, in their home language, and they can also include other visuals that reminded of them, right? And here we have translations of the word. Maybe the students know it in their home language and they already know what this is. So that's definitely something that you can incorporate. And expansion means becoming larger, getting bigger, or increasing in size, right? And we're really talking about land here. You want to make sure that when you create these interactive glossaries, right, with concepts or terms relevant to the lesson, that the images are purposeful. Then the next term is foreign policy. Again, you can do the same activity with the students. Based on this, what does it mean? Well, we have the world, different countries, handshake, maybe an agreement or something going on. Well, what does it mean? Right? How a country deals with other countries. So what do? Are they friendly? Are they enemies? Right? You can kind of discuss that with your students. And the last word, of course, is imperialism. So based on these images, what does it mean? What does imperialism mean? Right? And here you have kind of hands trying to take the earth and you have land again, right? So it's common theme here. And then you want to explain to the students once they have they kind of inference what they think imperialism means, a policy of extending your rule or power, right? Or power over foreign countries, right? That's why we have the world. So kind of taking over, right? Which is, this is why that visual kind of shows us that, right? Kind of. Okay. Then you can also include guiding questions, right? So you can use prior knowledge, which is where this KWL chart comes in handy. What I know, what I want to know, and what I learned, right? And of course, the more connections that you make, the better, because you can link foreign policy to imperialism. Well, if a country is being imperialist, right? Well, what does that mean? What type of foreign policy is it, right? Well, they're interacting, right? They might be working together, or maybe one is being unfair, right? So anyway, back to the guiding questions here. We can, of course, make connections to manifest destiny, which is something that students already know. So if we're talking about expansion, students know about expansion, right? Based on previous lessons where had manifest destiny, westward expansion, Native Americans, and things of that nature. So they can make connections to this quickly, which is why this KWL chart is perfect. So again, what is manifest destiny? Of course, providing translations in their home language so they can access the question. They could use sticky notes. How did manifest destiny affect people, right? So we know how it affected Native Americans by this point in the unit. And if you were the United States president, why would you want to get more land? So this question really hits home for the motives piece, right? Where in the objective, we see what were the motives behind the United States growth as an imperialist nation? So if you were the US president, why would you want to get more land? Why would you want to expand, right? They know that word now. And what are the benefits? So now we move on to the introduction model portion of this lesson. You have this political cartoon. Political cartoons are great because they're visuals and students can kind of access them. However, they tend to have words. And if students don't know what the words mean, then that could be a problem, okay? That could definitely be a problem. And this political cartoon is introduced with this what I see, what I think, and what I wonder chart. These images did not come with the chart. These images will also help the students, okay, will help the students figure out what it means, what I see, what I want, what I think, right? And what I wonder, what questions do I have? So including these images here purposefully will help students fill this chart out while you do this lesson. So a way to increase access for this political cartoon for your students, you might want to, of course, translate it in their home language, and you can do that by using Google Translate. You can do that by using Google Translate. Sometimes things don't translate perfectly, but at least it's to a point of reference, right? So that's definitely important when doing this. So definitely including that for your students and really picking this political cartoon apart. What do you see? Okay, I see Uncle Sam, right? What do these words mean? So I see Cuba, Puerto Rico, right? Bill of fare. Uncle Sam is sitting on a table. Uncle Sam usually represents the United States, right? Really going through all those different parts with the modeling how to understand this is really where you want them to be. And they can certainly do that if you provide them with the adequate approaches as seen in this Jamboard. Thank you.